Making is just the kind of my ultimate, really true to me, and if I'm not making something creatively, then I don't really feel myself. It's really important to who I am.
Do you remember what the first ever jewellery piece you made?
Yes, I did. I was at John Cass and I made a ring, a silver ring, and it was just such a thrill to make something that was actually something that somebody could wear, something solid and it looked so professional. It was just like, it was soldered and polished, and it just gave me such a thrill to have made something that someone was going to put on their body and that was going to be treasured. And I think that was kind of like the key to the rest of my career, because it was a really nice feeling. It was kind of different from making clothes because it has a different attachment and it's got a different symbolism, an accessory rather than a necessity. People choose to put it on, but then they attach so much to that object and it becomes part of them. They describe your own personal story. Exactly. And they all have little marks on them, which also that are kind of created through wearing.
Tell me what your favourite piece is that you've made and why.
My initial collection, which was called the Waterfall collection, which was like a multitude of chains hanging, and it had like a real sensual aspect to it because the way they felt together when they were being worn, and they just felt so decadent and so kind of sexy when they were worn. So it was like it was some pieces that I made which were kind of mixed with leather. So you had the juxtaposition of the leather and then the chains, and that was like ages ago. That was literally, I made that collection about 15, 16 years ago, and it was stocked in Selfridges, and it ended up being stocked in Agent Provocateur, and I was just so thrilled with it because it kind of encapsulated exactly what I was trying to do, and I think it was my first success story. I've made things since that have been probably more wearable, but that was the most thrilling collection that I've ever come up with because it kind of it was it stood out and it was quite sexy. It takes probably about 3 months for me to kind of get from the sketchbook point to an actual full collection that I can put out on the table and trial.
3 months for one lesson?
I would say so, because it takes me ages to kind of like get the designs down. I mean, I probably could work a lot faster, but that's how I work, because it takes me ages to sort of feel my way into what I really want to do, and then sort of like do a few prototypes that maybe don't work, or kind of just sort of like narrow it down to something that I feel really happy with. I had early success with my collection, the one I spoke about, the Waterfall collection. I had early success with that, but I kind of didn't know really how to take that and run with it afterwards. It was like I just launched. It was literally my first collection. It was like releasing your first album or something. It was like working on the second collection. I just got a bit of stage fright, and I didn't really know. I didn't have the confidence to do it. I kind of lost momentum with it. So that's when I started working at Westwood. And then after I finished working at Westwood, I learnt about kind of like completing, collections in their entirety and sort of going about it in a much more sort of from a professional point of view. I feel like now my biggest achievement is just keeping that momentum up and knowing what I mean to my customer and understanding, my brand, my message, and what people are buying into when they buy my product. And I feel like initially I was just kind of designing things I loved, but not doing it in a kind of very formulaic way, or just not really understanding how it was all working from a business point of view. So I think that now I feel a lot more confident as a businesswoman. I think that's the biggest accomplishment for me, because I'm a natural maker and I naturally love making things, but the business side is something that I've had to really learn.
How have you got where you are now? So I know that you worked with Vivienne Westwood. Was that like a learning curve for you when it comes to like finding your style in jewellery making? Or?
Yeah, it was really, really, really interesting working there, because first of all I started doing all the catwork pieces. So it kind of taught me about working under pressure and keeping my cool and being really creative to the end. And it was I don't think I'd ever had that much pressure to create that much high-end, high-quality pieces. So there was lots of sleeping in workshops and sort of like working all the way through the night and just kind of thinking much bigger than I'd ever thought before. And then I started working for them full time, and that was brilliant because before then, just designing collection after collection and knowing what you needed to put into to make a collection a full collection. It was a really small studio, so it's really intimate. So she was just upstairs, and it was, you know, there wasn't that many people working there. You had all the cutters downstairs, and then you had the designers upstairs, and me and Laurent were the only people in the jewellery section, so we kind of worked alongside her, but we never worked under her because she let us do our own thing. Yeah, lots of parties and fun, and yeah, it was a great experience.